Hi, welcome back to another Tools, Techniques, Tips, and Tricks, where I answer one of your questions. I got a tractor, now what? A viewer asked recently, how do you take off the front end loader? Well, I got to do some maintenance on the tractor, and it's a little bit easier to do it without the front end loader attached. So in this episode, I'm going to remove it for you and put it back on. So full disclosure, I've already done this once. It's windy. I apologize if it's a little windy out here. It's a beautiful day, just a little bit breezy, and I really don't have time to redo this. So full disclosure, this is the second time I've removed this. I did it last weekend when I actually did the service on the tractor, did an oil change. But due to technical difficulties, I didn't realize until I was looking at the footage again, I'd suddenly realized that I need to redo it, the whole thing. So I apologize if it's windy out here. It's a beautiful day. It's a little bit warmer than it was last week, and I really don't have time to do this any other time. So if you hear the wind chime in the background or the wind blowing through the weeds, through the trees, please forgive me. So the first thing we need to do is park the tractor on a firm, hard surface, and I'm here in my driveway. So I do have my truck in the garage, and I always say do this sort of stuff where you don't block any vehicles, because it may be a while before you can hook back up to it. But I am over far enough that I can still get out with my truck, and I'm not too horribly worried about it. I do need to do, finish the maintenance that I started last weekend. Last weekend all I did was an oil change, and I'll show some of that footage in here. But today I need to do the air pressure. I need to blow out the air cleaner. I need to wash it. It's pretty dirty. You can see here on the grill. It's dirty because I've been out burning some piles and using the tractor to kind of stir it up a little bit. It's great having a cab tractor where it just protects me on the inside, but boy, the outside just got really dirty. So I'm going to get out the pressure washer and wash it today as well. The first thing we want to do is lower these legs down. So we're on a firm, hard surface. Like I said, the tractor's parked. I got the front loader up a little bit, and actually I don't think it's going to be quite high enough. Well, let's find out. We're going to lower down this front arm here. So you just pull this pin here, pull it out, push this all the way down. Yeah, we're good. Put the pin back in. And do the same thing to the other side. Over here on the other side, just gonna do the exact same thing. These are kind of stiff. Another thing you want to make sure of is that you have the actual bucket on. No pallet forks or anything like that. That's according to the manual, and so that's what we're doing here. Next thing we're gonna do, I already got the tractor warmed up, moving some equipment around and whatnot, stirring up some piles. I got the clutch depressed on the other side, and it's locked down. I'm just gonna reach in here, turn the key on, wait for the light to go out, start up just at an idle. Now I'm watching the bucket, and I'm gonna lower it down right onto those posts. I don't want to put a lot of pressure on it, so just when they touch. Okay, and I'm going to dump the bucket out onto its cutting edge, just like that. Now I'm looking for these pins. I want these pins to be nice and loose. So I'm going to reach around the other side and take the keeper pin off. Try and pull that out. It won't come out very easily, so need to just move the bucket around. I'm watching the pin. Pull the pin out. Let's go around the other side and do that. Same thing over here. Pull this pin off. Pull out this pin. That one's really stuck. pull the pin out. So I was just in there watching the pin, and when I saw it loose, it's when I pulled it out. So I'm looking right inside of here. There's a big pin and a cup. And what I want to do is lift the front end loader, this bracket, up out of that cup. And so use the joystick to do that. I'm just pushing, let's see, other way. Trying to finagle it out of there. Wrong way. Now all I'm going to do, after I got that out, is turn off the tractor. The reason we do that is because I'm going to relieve the hydraulic pressure on these hoses. And to do that, you just grab a hold of the joystick with the tractor off and just move them around. That right there just released all the hydraulic pressure on these hoses. Down here where I got these quick connects, these hydraulic quick connects, I'm gonna start disconnecting them. One of the things I really like about what LS did is that they staggered these. They're not stacked on top of each other straight up and down. They're staggered. So you can easily get to them all the way down. So what I need to do is when I undo these, I need to clean off these plugs first, because they're gonna go in this female part. I don't want to put a bunch of dirt and stuff in there. The male side, I'm going to cap with the caps that come on the male side, but I'm not going to clean them out because they're easy to clean when I go to push them back on. But I do want that to be clean. So I'm going to go grab some wipes. Now you could take the time, tub of towels, you could take the time and do the other side, the male side, but it's really not necessary, like I was saying again, because you're going to wipe off that connection before you plug it back in. This just, you're gonna wipe out the female part too, but that female part's kind of a little bit harder to get to. So now I got that one clean. I'm just gonna unplug it, and I'm just gonna take the clean plug and stick it right in there. This, I'm just gonna let this hang. Well, I take the back. We're gonna take this and we're gonna put that cap on it. There we go. Right, same one for this guy here. These are all color coded on my tractor. Hopefully they are on yours. If they're not, get some colored zip ties. We want to make sure that when we go back on with these, that they are the same. That way your controls work the right way. Pull that back. Stick that on. Plug it. Anything you can do to reduce the amount of contaminants in your oils, the better. I'm going to take these hoses and loop them up over top of the front end loader here. And the only thing left to do is start up the tractor and back away from it. We're gonna clutch in, wait for the light to go out. Go 2, already into range, reverse, drop the emergency brake, parking brake, check behind me, make sure I'm not going to run anything over, start backing away. That's a different sight right there. Dust. So a few of the things I got to do right now, like I said, I've already done this once. I've already taken the front end loader off once when I did the oil change, and I did the entire grease. What I have to do this time is check the tire pressure. I want to wash it, and I need to clean out the air cleaner and the radiator and that sort of thing. So the first thing I'm going to do is wash it. I'm just going to clean it. I'm not going to show you that on camera. I'll bring you back when I'm all done and I go to hook back up to the front end loader. I've got it all done, pressure washed, and I checked the tire pressure. And it reminded me, before I move to the next step, there's a few more products I'd like to talk about. And I was planning on doing a separate video on each one of these, but I'm using them all right now, so I might as well show you what they are right now. So the first one is something you've seen me use already, and that's this tire pressure gauge. What's really slick about this tire pressure gauge is that it's got a really good digital readout, and you don't need to push any buttons. It's got this little locking mechanism on there. You just plug it in. It starts reading out what it is right there. And you can see I kind of went a little bit over. If I wanted to add more air, I'd just give it a little bump. And that just puts just a little bit of air into it. But it also just reads it, what it is. So you turn it off to save battery, or it turns off on its own. Pretty good little product, and it's really accurate as far as I can tell. I don't have any way of really calibrating these things, but you can let out air. So I'm actually going to let this out, use this little side button right here, until it says 30. I did go a little over. I'm 30.8, 30.7, 30.3, 30.1, 30 right on the dot. Oh, 30.1, 30 on the dot. Really easy way of doing your air pressure. The next one is this little guy. You've seen him before too. This makes it really easy to get in there and blow out air filters in your radiator. And when I plug this in, you just hit that trigger and it blows out the air here. Nice and skinny outlet right there. Increases the pressure and blow things out pretty easily. And I'm getting ready to use this right now, so I'm just gonna leave you plugged in or turned on. So another thing I'd like to show you while I'm in here, are these thumb screws right here. They used to be like this. And what I'd have to do is get a wrench or my impact driver, my little 1/4-inch impact driver, and zip these off, take this cover off. The reason why you want to take this cover off is you take the screen off, take this cover off, and you can get behind the two different radiators. However, the ones that I got from Amazon were a little bit long. They're like this long. And it's a little bit too long, if you can see that. So what I had to do is actually just trim these off. I looked for shorter ones, but I couldn't really find them. So I'll link to these ones, but you'll just know that you'll have to take a hacksaw and just cut off about a 1/4 of an inch of these threads. So let me take these off real quick and I'll show you the access you can get in here. As you can see, they're quite short. I've also taken them to the bench grinder and rounded them off a little bit easier to find that hole. Then I got those off and just take this entire thing off in one unit. I leave that one in there just like that. And now I can get in here and clean these out much easier. So I'm gonna do that really quick. You'll want to clean out your radiator, blow out your radiator like that probably every month or so at least, especially if you're working in a really dusty, dirty environment. The reason why is because dirt gets packed in these fins in here and it can't cool very well. You'll notice your temperature gauge start to rise a little bit higher than it normally does. That's a real good indicator that you need to blow out your radiator. If you don't, then you get just running way too hot and it's not very efficient. So just blow it out. It takes just a few seconds. And get that tool from Amazon. It's really great for doing this sort of thing. The next thing I'm going to do is this air cleaner. You can see that one's really dirty. So I don't worry about the inner one. That one gets changed according to the service manual. I forget at what interval, but it's not for a while. So this one though, this one needs to be blown out quite a bit. You can see I just tap it and dirt comes out of it. So I'm gonna get the, yeah, it's pretty dirty. You wanna blow this one out too, periodically, probably more than I've done this one, just so it helps your engine breathe better. When you put this back on, you want this breather to be facing down. So yeah, check these out. They also make one that connects to a garden hose. You can flush your radiator or wash it real well. I do that maybe once a year. I found that it doesn't really do much, to be honest with you. It just pukes water. So yeah, it might be okay to get in there and like get that fine dust pushed out of there, but really, this is pretty much all you need. So they sell them in a 2-pack though. Again, links in the description. These little thumb screws just make it so much nicer, so much easier. I don't have to go looking for a wrench or anything like that. For things that you're supposed to be taking off periodically, make it pretty nice. And I will say, when I'm out brush hogging or something like that, I will take this one off and just pull the screen and bang it out like every day or something like that, just to get the chaff and the grass and stuff off of it and slide it back in. I won't worry about this unless I see that temperature gauge start to rise, and then I'll blow everything out again. Couple things. One, I am completely sold on removing this FEL to do any kind of maintenance on this tractor. I mean, I was getting in here to wipe off where the oil filter goes. Super simple compared to last time. Last time I was trying to reach my arm up down here, trying to crank around and get in there to wipe it, put the oil filter on. Now I'm just going straight to it. No pain in the butt at all. The other thing I wanted to talk about, and I should have showed it, is this guy right here. Link for the description, this guy. This is a filter wrench, and it makes quick work of taking off filters. It does, destroy it, but it does a really good job. I got several strap wrenches and everything that you would use to try and take off a filter, but nothing works like these. So Aries, that's the only marking that's on them. I don't remember how much I paid. Bought these a long time ago. Leave it off of Amazon. If not, I'll find it and I'll post it in the description. So about ready to go back on with the new oil filter, which is, again, if you saw my 50-hour service, that's the one I use right there, Wix WL7426, and I'm using Shell Rotella T6 5W40 full synthetic. You need to come into this as straight as you possibly can. That first time wasn't very straight. This is looking much better. I'm just going to get up underneath. There we go. Set the parking brake, neutral, shut it off. Well, I got the tractor all done serviced. Now I've got to put the front end loader back on. It's a pretty straightforward process. You saw me just now pull up to it. All we need to do is hook up the hydraulics, clean them off the connections, hook up the hydraulics, get it back into the coupling, put the pins in, fold up the legs, and we're done. So let's make that happen. Well, the first things first, I use my tub of towels here. We got to clean these connections real well. I'm just going to do one at a time. I see blue and blue. I'm just going to pull this one off. Wipe that off real well. Pull that out. Wipe that off. Stick it on. Actually, I messed up. I need to start at the bottom. So before I get too far into this, I need to start with here. So we'll do the yellow one next. And green. All right. All connected. All right, it's all connected. All we gotta do is start up the tractor and get this pin into this hole, this cup, and get this hole lined up with this hole. So we can then take this pin and shove it in there. Now these pins, before I get to that point, these pins, you'll notice that there is a, get you in frame, there is a, like a lip on here. That lip has either got to be like this or like this. And that's the way we'll have it. So this lever's not hanging down. Let's start the tractor. Let's just at an idle. We're just going to move the bucket around. Okay, that went in. I see that this pin is almost lined up already. Shoot, that's really close right there. Not quite, it's not going all the way through yet. Whoop, hit the camera. There it goes. Take my keeper pin. Put it on there. That's gotta go do the other side. What you saw me do there I couldn't reach the pin and the joystick at the same time. So I just reached in and used my foot to hold pressure on that to kind of feel when it was going to go in, and just moved it around until it slid in. So a little bit of gymnastics work, but so here, all I got to do is pull these pins out. Boy, that's tight. Fold these up, pin back in. Boy, it is windy today. Go to the other side. All right, well, that's all done. I hope you got something out of this, taking this on and off. Now that I've done it a few times, it's going to come off more often, mostly for maintenance reasons. I can't really picture a reason why I would take it off other than just for maintenance. But it sure makes it nice to be able to work around the tractor itself without having this hunk of iron in front of you all the time. So if you did enjoy this video, please like and subscribe, as always. Take a look at those products that I show and list. You know, I use those products all the time, and I stand behind them. I wouldn't recommend a product that I don't trust myself and that I don't use myself. So keep that in mind. Well, that's all I have for this video. As always, thanks for watching.